All right, let's move in to the team that is probably going to get talked about the least, the Kansas City Chiefs. Our narrative is obviously can they three-peat? And when you look at the roster, I mean, they got better, no? Like they improved this offseason. And you could argue that you may see a dip in secondary play after moving L'Jarius Sneed. But my thing is, I guess my thing is, corner play is probably the most volatile play that you'll see in the NFL. So there's no guarantee that Sneed was going to have the season that he had last year, this year. Not to say he wouldn't be a very, very good corner. But when you look at who they added, from the receiver perspective in Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, and, Rashee Rice, I don't know if he's going to be suspended or not. Like, that is a very, very formidable wide receiver room, especially if Kelsey's able to, remain healthy and, not drop off with age. Pacheco's good. I am a little bit concerned about the left tackle spot with Kingsley Suamatia. And then, obviously, you have Wanya Morris backing him up. But with that being said, it is very interesting to see because that's what we saw kind of last year. Is they went out and got Jawan Taylor and they signed Donovan Smith, right, to fill that role because we know what happened. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl versus Brady when Mahomes doesn't have a line, when any quarterback doesn't have a line. It has nothing to do with Mahomes personally, specifically him. But it's just they're kind of gambling on inexperience here at the left tackle spot. With that being said, though, they brought back Chris Jones. There's really not much to talk about with this team, in my opinion, other than like if everyone performs the way they're supposed to, why would they not be able to three-peat?
Well, exactly, Hunter. And this is the analogy I'm going to use is because I think a lot of people listening will be able to resonate with this one. And even if you can't, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying. So it works perfectly. You know, Back in those days, Hunter, when you used to make like a Madden franchise and your team wouldn't even be that good, right? Like you'd be rebuilding, let's just pick a random team. And you'd be rebuilding them a couple seasons in, but you've got a quarterback and he's got the elite development trait and he's got the maxed out stats. And you're just out there having a fucking field day with him. You're like, I don't really care that my corners are 74 overall. I don't really care that my D line is a bunch of 74 overalls. I don't care that my O line's a bunch of 78 overalls. Like, I don't care that. And I'm not saying that's right. The Chiefs. You get my point. I'm not saying that's the Chiefs. The point is you can have a ton of holes on your roster, but you don't care because you're like, I'm gonna go out there with my gunslinger, and we're gonna go find a way to win this game. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just make all the plays that I gotta make. We're gonna win this game. That's how the Chiefs have felt for the last 2 years. And now this year, it's kind of like, yo, they went from just being the team that just had the guy, and they were not like, again, Chiefs fans. I'm not discrediting you. Yes, you have the best D coordinator in football. It's not just Mahomes, but the point is that you can rely so much on just the favorable outcome of having the most important position filled that you got to just glide by on that. And now all of a sudden, not only do they have the best quarterback, the best D coordinator, all the other great pieces that they already had, well, they basically filled almost all those holes this offseason, Hunter, and they got much better to your point. I mean, really, where could you address that they got worse? They definitely didn't get worse in any areas. All their young guys from last year, they were already ascending, like Leo Chenal, are very likely just going to make McDuffie are just going to make another jump this year. So realistically, the Chiefs went from like being not necessarily the best roster and still winning the Super Bowl to being pretty much confirmably the best roster. Now the expectation is to go win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's kind of just the only way you can say it, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you would watch Brady in the playoffs. It's like, well, until he loses, I can't bet against him. And it's just, this one was really, I mean, this was one of the hardest teams to do and also easiest because it's like, it's hard to really come up with scenarios where they don't repeat success that they've had because we've seen there's such a late year team and it doesn't really matter who they play in the playoffs, like they're gonna win. So it's just one of those where it's like, okay, what do you want me to say? Like outside of injury, which really could hamper or hinder any team in the NFL, the Chiefs are poised to repeat again until somebody stops them. I mean, it's to me, it's Mahomes, the Chiefs, and 31 other teams. That is how it was with Brady and the Patriots at times, where it was Brady, the Patriots, and 31 other teams. Like, they are ahead because of the quarterback play, because of the coaching, because of the drafts that they have had and the players that they have retained and the culture that they have built. So, Dobbs, I don't really know if there's much more to discuss with the Chiefs, unfortunately, just because it's like, I mean, dude, I think they're going to try to take the top off of defenses again this year with all the speed they have. Like, are they going to revert back to kind of early days with what they were doing with Tyreek Hill, where they're just beating teams deep? Like, is the explosive play coming back? Like, interested to see how defenses try to stop the speed they have in the wide receiver room.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be. I think we're seeing an over 5,000 yard Mahomes season again. And then last thing I just want to say on the Chiefs, and then we can move on to next team because it was a great point you brought up. Too many fans every year, and this is something that the Chiefs and the Patriots dynasties are both, just like that on. And more people have got to realize it's not always the worst thing in the world. If anything, sometimes it seems to be trajectory for good stuff in the future, right? The Patriots always used to start 2-2, 3-2, whatever. And Chiefs really do the same thing a lot. And you always hear the media and the fans and everybody's like, the sky is falling. Like, they're not the same team. It's like, no. They're just saving the best football for when it's the most important. It's that January, February, December football we always talk about. It's when it matters most. If you're showing up then, good things are going to happen. The Chiefs and the Patriots figure that out. So, maybe more teams will start to figure it out sooner than later. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. The Chiefs definitely embody that as the modern day dynasty.
If you come home with the trophy, that is really all that matters.